The MLB Network analyst is in Miami for the All-Star festivities. He can be seen today and tomorrow on the field during batting practice on MLB tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. How are you, HR?
Hey, I'm doing good, man. The guys are walking by me right now. I'm standing out in the hallway outside the locker room. Clubhouse. What's up, guys? Good to see you.
Who's that?
Cash.
Who'd you give dap to?
Kevin Cash, Brad Mills. All the coaches are walking in for the American League.
Okay.
And I'm actually outside the National League clubhouse because we just got through doing a little tour.
Okay.
But hey, Rich, real quick.
Yeah.
I heard you telling your story about your beard.
Yes.
All right. True story on my part.
Mm-hmm.
My rookie season, we're playing a game in Kansas City, and I pinch run. And after the game, Barry Bonnell, one of my teammates, he had a bunch of family there, and his nephew says to him, Uncle Barry, why did the bat boy get to run? Can I do that tomorrow? After that, I grew a mustache. Don't forget that.
So that's the last time you didn't have facial hair, Harold?
I cut it off every now and then.
Okay.
But very rare. But that started the trend right there.
See,
that.
When I was on ESPN with you back in the day, they frowned upon facial hair. Management did. And I've never really worn it for the NFL Network. I just figured between now and maybe, the Hall of Fame ceremonies coming up in early August, I'm just going to rock it. I'm going to try and rock it
you
best
may
I
as
can.
Well. I don't have a TV. I'd love to see it.
Oh, I'll
love to see it.
I'll send you a selfie. Harold.
All right,
I really don't say that to many people, but I'll do that. So how'd you start the baseballs, HR? Come on, let's get right into it.
Wow.
I mean, let's get right into it because it's been insane. It really has been insane this year, has it not?
Well,
or you tell me.
It's amazing. I don't know, man. I mean, I'm trying to be politically correct, but the ball's flying. When I see the opposite field home runs, that's what makes you go, hold on now. Unbelievable. So, I'm tracking this thing down because I got a theory. These guys, I think, are better understanding how to drive the baseball than we ever were as a generation. But the ball's flying this year, so it's hard to deny.
Well, Smoltz says it's because a bunch of guys don't care if they swing and miss anymore. And because exit velocity matters more to general managers and scouts these days than actual contact, is what he's basically saying. That's what he told us.
That's actually a real truth to that. And you think about it, it used to be, okay, I'm in a 2-0 count, I can take a big swing, or 3-1 or 3-0. Now 1-2, 0-2, I see just as big a swing as you would see on a 1-0. So that's a big part of it.
Well, but tonight, I mean, we'll see actual juice baseballs because I know that they put different baseballs in the home run derby. The one moment that I remember from the first half, it was just a few weeks ago when Robbie Cano, with the bases loaded, hit a ball to right center field, and he dipped his head with the international body language symbol of "man, I just missed it," and then the ball wound up 10 rows deep, and he got a grand slam out of it.
I've seen a few of those this year. And, the crazy thing is when the little guys, I don't have a problem with Cano, but I'm watching some little guys hitting balls opposite field. Now, yesterday I was here with the Futures game.
Yes.
And when I say little guys, they're not little anymore. I mean, that's the other thing. Everybody's big. Just the kids are bigger. I don't know if it's the food, the generation's bigger. And I'm looking at a guy like Corey Ray, for example, who was the number one pick last year out of Louisville. And he's like, man, I want the little guys here. I'm like, no, you're not. You're 6 foot. Everybody's 6 foot, 6'5". We never had baseball players this big before. When you see Bryce Harper, he's 6'4", Chris Bryant, 6'5", Stanton, 6'6", and you got the big man in New York, he's 6'7". You didn't have baseball players like this anymore, and really, that's the norm. You got 6'2", 6'3" shortstops all over the field. That never happened when I was playing 20 years ago.
Yeah, they don't think they're the bat boy just because they don't have facial hair, right, Harold?
Exactly.
Much anymore. Harold Reynolds from MLB Network joining me here. And then you got 2 60-win teams here. One gets 61 wins. That's the Dodgers, with Clayton Kershaw having a gem against the Kansas City Royals yesterday. And Houston dropping 19 on Toronto before heading off to the All-Star game. Which is the better team, Harold, if they go against each other in 7 games right now?
Well, That's a really good question. The pitching is going to be the biggest difference. And I think the Dodgers maybe have a little more depth in the pitching. And it's debatable because the Astros get to that bullpen is pretty dang good. But I would have to say the Dodgers right now are a better team. I think they're a little more versatile. But the but for me is Houston's offense. We've never seen anything like this for a number of years. They're that good all the way through. So if you're playing in a National League park, that pitcher becomes a little bit more important. And I think then the Dodgers have them in a National League park.
So which team do you think can crash this party? Give me one that you think is a party crasher for 260-win teams that look destined right now.
Well, I think Cleveland's getting a lot better. The National League, it will get interesting to see if the Nationals are able to get a closer. If they get a closer, I think the National League, the Nationals are the team to beat.
So who could that close? Who could be that closer? Who do you think would be on the market a month from now?
I'll tell you what, I think Zach Britton's going to be the guy. You know, there's no way the Orioles are going to turn this thing around, and eventually they got to go ahead. They got to go ahead and make a move. And if you get him healthy, he gets back showing what he can do, I think the Orioles can flip him. And if I'm the Nationals, that's my number one target.
Wow. Just sending him, sending him in
a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, that would be something. I mean, but they're only 4 games out of the wild card, Harold. You take a look at the American League. Every team in the American League that isn't currently in the wild card is within 7.5 games of the lead. So everybody is kind of still in the mix, one would think.
Yeah, but I think when you sit back, this is what's going to happen to some clubs this second half. You might fool yourself into thinking you're better than you are. And if you got a chance, you may mortgage your future when you don't need to. And I think the Orioles are at a point where they got to turn it around. They're strapped with the Chris Davis contract. And then you look at Machado's coming up next year. You're going to sign him for $200 million, $300, and then you got Zach Britton, who's going to be a free agent as well. So when you got everybody needing the commodity that you want and you can move it, I think you're fooling yourself saying, oh, we're only 4 back, when you got a chance to really say, are we going to win a World Series? No. Great to get in the postseason and lose the first game when you could have turned your whole organization around. So that, I think, not only the Orioles, but I think there are several teams in that position right now.
Could it be possible, Harold Reynolds, that one of those teams is the Chicago Cubs, 5.5 games out of first place in the NL Central?
Wow. No, I think they're going to add if they do. I think the Cubs are going to end up winning that division.
Really?
I look at Schwarber's back. Their offense is better. Here's been the Achilles heel. And here's the one thing, the pitching has not been there. So you got to think they're going to pitch better. But I said this going into the season, the Cubs are younger than most people think. And they played like a real young team. Bad mistakes. They haven't played consistent defense. But you got to think that the team that won it last year is still inside those guys to turn it around. I still believe in the Cubs.
Yeah, I have a feeling we're going to be saying that September 1st too, Harold. And then suddenly we're going to be turning around and then the season's over. And they might be on the couch, ATC at the crib, when it all comes down.
They very well could be. That's the crazy thing is they can go the other direction, but I don't see them trading off pieces to do that, though.
No, I don't see them doing that. I guess the way I was putting it is that they're not as good as we think they are.
True. Now that I 100% agree with. I think we all thought they were this amazing club, but you really think about it, they were a Rajay Davis home run away from losing the World Series. And that, I think, played a big part in why they struggled this year.
Before I let you go, Harold, give me who wins tonight? Who's the home run derby champion tonight? Give me your prediction, please.
I think Stanton brings it home. But I'm enamored not only with who wins it, but they're going to hit some balls off the plexiglass in the back wall tonight. It's going to be amazing. It reminds me of the setup when everybody talks about Boston, that home run derby.
Yeah.
But the one in Milwaukee, when that ballpark was brand new, well, that All-Star game got overlooked because it was a tie. It was a great weekend. But Sammy Sosa and McGuire and those guys were hitting them through the plexiglass in left center in Milwaukee. And I think because we have an aesthetic ballpark where you can see things bounce off of it instead of flying out, you'll really be able to see the distance. It's going to be amazing.
And who's the guy that I should be looking at tomorrow night that nobody's talking about? Who's the all-star that is not getting his due going into this game, Harold?
Well, I mean, all-star games, the pitchers end up getting this stuff, but I think the one guy that the country has not really paid attention to is Jose Altuve. Altuve is an amazing player. 200 hits every year. He's on a streak right now where he's had 3 or more hits in the last 5 or 6 games. Who does that? So he's the little guy that's breaking the odds. I love watching him.
Yeah, and him and Correa are going to be up the middle forever in Houston.
Yeah, it's going to be a nice combo.
Harold, you take care.
Combo.
Good chatting with you. Good chatting with you.
I'll be checking that Just for Men beard you got working.
You got it.
All right.
You got it, Harold. That's Harold Reynolds.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on radio stations across the country and audience.
If you like that, download our app. Please, just if it's a memory thing, just delete other apps. You don't need those apps. This app, the Rich Eisen Show app, you need that.